Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Dan Steinfield, head of school here at Delaware County Christian School, home of the DC Knights. And this is the Roundtable, where every month we talk with leaders at Delaware County Christian School who are charged with moving the ministry and the mission of DC forward. Our special guests today are Joy Ludwig, head of the lower school, and Rob Atkins, upper school teacher and Bible department head. And our topic for this morning is going to be reaccreditation. And I know all of our families know exactly what that is and are on the edge of their seats to hear about reaccreditation, but it's a very important process for us as a school. We currently hold ACSI and Middle States accreditation as an academic institution. And this is actually an important part of the life of our school that impacts everybody. And so we want to take some time this morning and talk a little bit about that. Joy has agreed to chair our reaccreditation steering committee. And so Joy, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about what is accreditation? Why is it important for DC?
So accreditation comes around about every 5 years or so, 5 to 7 years. And we are due for our reaccreditation with ACSI. And it couldn't come, in my opinion, at a better time. Just as we finish this strategic planning cycle and we look forward to the future, this is a great opportunity to pause and reflect on where we've been, where we are, and what the future holds as the Lord leads. Scripture tells us to consider your ways and to turn your feet towards the Lord's statutes. And I think reaccreditation gives us an opportunity to do just that, to pause and look at our practices, our policies, to compare them against the standards of flourishing schools, to see how we're doing in fulfilling our mission and how effectively we're delivering that. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this process. I think it's a great opportunity to come out of it with real tangible steps that we can take to helping DC just be a better school for God's glory.
Yeah, well said. And this is a big commitment of our school. This will be a year-long process that we will take. And just so that our school families understand, there are somewhere around 2,500 schools that are part of ACSI. Only about 30% of those schools carry accreditation right now. So it really is a mark of distinction that a school would pursue this continuous school improvement process. And of those 30% of schools, DC has what's called exemplary accreditation, and there's less than 10% of ACSI schools that hold that distinction. So this is quite a feat, quite an undertaking that we're taking on. We share Joy is going to chair the steering committee. Rob, what is your role in this reaccreditation process?
Sure. So I've been asked to chair one of the 6 domains, and that domain covers purpose and foundations. So it's made up of 3 subcommittees, one being governance and leadership and kind of how the school governs and the policies there. The other one, biblical worldview. And then the first is mission and values and foundations. So.
Yeah, excellent. We want to come back to that in just a minute, dig into that a little bit more. Sure. But Joy, can you share for our parents that are listening now, how are students involved in this reaccreditation process?
Well, I think that's the beauty of reaccreditation, really, is that everyone's involved. Faculty, staff, the board, parents, students, the whole school community. Of course, we have to seek feedback on everything that we're doing here at DC. So parents and students will be participating in a series of different surveys throughout the coming year. When the ACSI team visits, lots of interviews and focus groups, so lots of opportunities to speak into how DC is fulfilling its mission on a daily basis and the impact that we're having on students as well.
Yeah, that's excellent. Rob, going back to your domain, so within the reaccreditation, there are 6 domains we'll be measured against. One, for example, is teaching and learning, right? How are we doing in delivering our academic program and assessment? And you're overseeing that domain of purpose and foundations. And why do you see that such an important domain for the life of the school?
Yeah, I mean, as is in the name of it, really it captures who we are. It's our identity. It's what we're about, and it helps us ensure that who we say we are to our stakeholders is really who we are, and what we do day in and day out is actually fulfilling our stated mission. Mm-hmm.
That's great. And Rob, also, for you, this is a great leadership opportunity for you. You're chairing this domain, one. And so why are you excited to be a part of this reaccreditation process? And why are you excited about your specific role in this process?
Yeah.
I guess I'm assuming you're excited about it.
No, I am excited about it. And when Joy had first contacted me and asked me about that, it's one that I was drawn to immediately. I think probably first and foremost, part of my role as the head of the Bible department, I care deeply that as a really a historic Christian school, that we maintain our foundations, that we continue to be rooted in Christ, that we really are who we say we are, and we're not just adding Christian to the title of our name. So I think that would be first and foremost. I care about what I do as a Bible teacher and as the department head, and I care about how that's lived out in the life of the school. More recently, I've become more interested in the governance side of things, and even in the stated mission and the values with recent PhD work that I've been doing. And I'll be doing more study in this area of mission fidelity, which really lends itself to what we're doing with reaccreditation. That we're taking time to evaluate how we're doing in our stated mission. Are we really achieving what we say we're going to achieve? Yeah. And then are we remaining faithful to these stated values that we've made public? And in some ways, those stated values and that mission function as the thing that's going to draw people to our school, right? So we want to ensure that we're really doing those things.
Yeah, so, as we talk about it, one of the greatest pieces of accreditation is just accountability. Outside accountability by an outside organization, that we are staying true to our mission, staying true to our founding documents. That's great. Speaking a little bit about the other domains, just offhand, how many faculty and staff, Joy, do you remember offhand, are part of the 6 different domains that are serving? And just give a rough estimate. But.
Well, I think in terms of chairing a domain or a subcommittee and participating on a subcommittee, 60, maybe 70 people. But every faculty member and staff member is involved. They all have a piece to work on over the next year, and it's significant. I think that one of the beauties of this is that everyone is involved, and so there's ownership, there's perspective, it generates a lot of ideas for our future. The accreditation that we went through in the past was called REACH, and it was very compliance-driven. Meet this standard, and are you complying? And what I love about the new protocol that we're participating in, it's called INSPIRE, and it's meant to do just that. It's based on anchor principles or pillars that come out of the Flourishing Schools model, and it does create excitement. It provides an opportunity, a platform for faculty to dream about what DC could be in the future. And so prayerfully, as we go through that process, I'm excited about what the Lord will reveal. And then those things that come out of this process will help to influence the next strategic plan. And that's very exciting. It's impactful work.
We've mentioned a few times the Flourishing Schools model from ACSI, and just to refresh people's memory, that's research that has come out of ACSI over the last 5 or 6 years. DC was one of the founding schools in that research, along with 60 other schools. That was done in 2018 and 2019. And it's really a research that shows how Christian schools today can flourish. That if they're doing out of these 6 domains these specific things, their community, their students, even their alumni 5, 10, 20, 30 years after leaving the school will flourish in their faith and will be walking with the Lord. So that's another important tie, that these measures we're being measured against, these domains, come out of research-based best practices for Christian schools. So Joy, you've already touched on this, but for our families, what is the actual tangible product? Like, what is the result of a successful reaccreditation?
Well, we're certainly working on a final report, a self-study that we can present to ACSI, and then out of that, an accreditation action plan, of course. But I think more importantly, part of our core values here at DC is excellence. And what draws many of us here to the school is Christian education that's done in an excellent manner, because we're bearing Christ's name. And so just coming out and knowing that the work that we're doing will help DC to be more excellent and to have just a reflection of Christ here at school, I think it is important. And so tangible steps that we can apply to our next strategic plan to make DC not just a better school, but our mission more effective.
Yeah. We've been talking about reaccreditation follows the flourishing school research, and there are domains, 5 domains with that research. Joy, do you want to walk us through what those domains are?
Sure. As you said, there are 6 of them. The first one is purpose and foundation, which Rob is chairing. The next one is relationships that we can find throughout the community. And of course, teaching and learning, which is a very large domain. And then there's expertise and resources, which speaks to our financial practices and human resources, hiring practices. And then well-being among our teachers, our faculty, our staff, and our students. And so those are the 6 domains that we'll be looking at.
Yeah. Rob, we just got started. We had 2 in-service days here in January, 23rd and 24th, where our committees were meeting and getting underway. As we just start this process, we're very at the front end. This will culminate in the spring of 2024 with a visiting team, as you mentioned, from ACSI, and there'll also be Middle States representatives that will be on site. Will spend 4 days with us as the culmination of this. But as we just get started, what can our families be doing at this point to support this process?
Sure. I think, in addition to responding to the surveys that are going to come and participating that way, I think first and foremost, our families can be praying that we have wisdom as we carry these things out, that maybe areas that we need to grow in are brought to light, that areas that we should celebrate are celebrated, and that God would just give wisdom to all those who are involved. I'm actually just now thinking of an old magnet from a DC campaign years before I came here. It was probably in the 70s, and it was in the shape of a key, and it said, "The key to our success is prayer." And I would say the same thing applies today in 2023. The key to our success is prayer.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I am so thankful for both of you, not only for your time today to introduce reaccreditation to our parents, but for your leadership. Rob, we're so thankful for you. We see you very much as a strong leader at DC, an up-and-coming leader at DC. To see you a part of the leadership team, the steering committee that will lead accreditation, we're thankful for. And Joy, as a member of our executive leadership team, we're thankful for you. And it's no small endeavor to spearhead this entire process. So we're thankful for the work that you will do. And we ask you to join with us in prayer as we walk through this reaccreditation process and as DC begins to wind down this current strategic plan cycle and look at what God has in store for us in the next 3, 5, 10 years. We're excited to see where God leads us through this process. So thank you for joining us for the roundtable here in January.